What is the weirdest fact you know? Frederick Bauer, the inventor of the Pringles can, is buried in one. Whichever one of us finds him in the winning can gets to tour the Pringles factory. Most of the camels of Saudi Arabia are imported from Australia. The largest wild population of camels is also in Australia. We don't really know who the inventor of the fire hydrant is, because the patent was destroyed in a fire. Volkswagen makes a currywurst and it has its own original part number. Number 199 398 500A. A fungus grows next to the highly radioactive elephant's foot in the Chernobyl reactor. It feeds off the gamma rays emitted by the nuclear fuel in a process known as radiosynthesis. If you are exposed to similar levels of radiation, you would have a lethal dose in 3 minutes. Radiotrophic fungus was first discovered at the Chernobyl site in 1991, just after the collapse of the Soviet Union and the start of internationally aided cleanup/containment efforts. Not so sure about right next to the elephant's foot, but it was definitely found growing in large, flourishing colonies all throughout the site's cooling water supply. This fungus appears to use melanin, the same dark brown pigment that gives humans all their various normal skin tones, except in much, much higher concentrations, to power sugar-producing reactions by deriving energy from nuclear decay the same way plants and cyanobacteria use the green pigment chlorophyll to synthesize sugars by deriving energy from sunlight. Basically, this stuff is a mold colony that has the most extreme tan ever, and uses it to eat radiation. Similar fungi have been found accumulated on the exterior hulls of low-orbit spacecraft, and experiments were recently, 2018 to 2019, conducted to begin investigating if the stuff could be used as shielding to protect astronauts from solar/cosmic radiation. Apparently, results were promising. Sloths can hold their breath longer than dolphins can. That is weird. Actually makes sense though. They move so dang slow, they would probably drown before reaching the surface of the water, if they couldn't hold their breath for a long time. Sloths travel 3 times faster in water than they do on land. Saw that on a National Geographic documentary. 3 feet per minute instead of 1? Slow down, sloths. Leave some speed for the turtles. Titanic was fitted with microphones for receiving underwater bell signals. With this system, the sound of submarine bells was received through the hull of the vessel. Submarine bells, used as fog signals, were located on lightships, at lighthouses, and even on some specially equipped buoys. They were actuated by electric signals, compressed air, or simply by wave motion. Titanic had 2 submarine microphones on her hull, one on each side. These were the ears of the ship. By switching between the port and starboard microphones and comparing the volume of the bells, the navigation officer could determine the direction to the navigation aid. Sound travels much further through water than through air. These bells could be heard over 15 miles away through the headset. A pretty cool way of navigating at a time when GPS and radar didn't yet exist. Still couldn't detect the iceberg. When male honeybees orgasm, their penises explode with a pop. Audible to human ears. And when winter comes, the worker bees, which are all female, kick the male bees out to die in the cold because they do nothing other than mate with the queen, and the queen can make more even if she is new and unmated. She needs to mate in order to make more female bees. I did not know that. Doorknobs that are made out of brass can disinfect itself in about 8 hours. Copper has the same effect. Demonstrates the SARS-CoV-2 virus particles became non-viable after 4 hours on copper surfaces. Web link. Koalas have fingerprints that are very close to human fingerprints. There apparently have been several break-in in Australia by the same person based off fingerprint evidence. Turned out to be a koala that was responsible for all of these. If you want to paint a violin red, you have to use a naphthol or purel red, as a cadmium red pigment is too heavy and will alter the sound. I've never thought about the weight of paint before. It adds up, The first two Space Shuttle external tanks were painted white. The external tanks ended up weighing 600 pounds more than the unpainted ones. That's strange, my teenage son still uses just as much Kleenex. An average storm cloud weighs about 47,627,199 kilograms. When caterpillars make their chrysalises, they don't just grow wings and change, they dissolve completely into goo which then reforms into the butterfly. Better yet, if you train the caterpillars to dislike certain stimuli, the resulting butterflies retain that memory and will avoid the same stimuli. Anglerfish mate by the male biting the female's abdomen. Over time, the male is absorbed and linked to the female's circulatory system while the male basically melts into a parasite-looking growth that is actually nothing but testicles which the female will use when she's ready. Weird enough for you? I'll just leave this web link. Tapirs' penises are not only very large relative to body length, but they are also prehensile, i.e. they can grip and grab. Great white sharks have never been seen mating. Ever. By anyone. Zero record made by a human. Strange considering what a mighty presence they have on humans. Edit, they've never observed them giving birth either. Thanks folks for the info. Edit, the mating hath commenced, thanks fellow Redditor. While still not officially observed in the scientific community, there has been an account from a fisherman. Edit, to everyone asking why we can't just put sharks in a tank and observe, no. Great whites are worth more than our curiosity. They have a level of force and mystique that sees them belong only to the ocean. It's been attempted and they lose their minds very quickly. They're the result of millions of years of predatory evolution, an absolute predator. We will observe only when in the right circumstance at the right time, which is in the wild, in the ocean. Web link. This reminds me of a recent episode of the Memory Palace podcast. It's called Keyhole and it's about whales. The title comes from a scientist who said studying these large underwater creatures is like studying humans through a keyhole. You only get the bits that happen as they pass. Edit, man, this blew up. Thanks for the award. I highly recommend anyone who hasn't listened to check it out. Nate DeMeo is a gifted storyteller, and most of the episodes are 15 minutes or shorter. He gives no context when he begins, and any episode notes are minimal, to say the least. Is especially beautiful and a perfect place to start. Web link. Most rune stones erected by Norsemen were erected by Christians, and they're often decorated with Christian crosses. Runic writing also continued for centuries after conversion, so it's not uncommon to see things like God help his soul on rune stones. It might not be so weird if one's intimately familiar with the topic, but I think a lot of people just seem to associate runic writing with paganism. The first American film to drop an F-bomb was MASH. I just heard this one on No Such Thing as a Fish, so I don't know if it's true. But apparently if you play Tetris for 20 minutes within 6 hours after a traumatic car accident, you'll be 62% less likely to have PTSD-like memories of the event. Huh. I wonder if this is because the eye movements you make during Tetris are similar to a technique used in EMDR. Web link. If you type Illuminati backwards on your search bar, along with atanamully.com, it'll take you straight to the NSA website. Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, the author of Sherlock Holmes, published a book in 1922 about how fairies are real based on some pictures of fairies deemed authentic by an expert. Edit, well, RIP my inbox. Now my book of useless information is 2 halves for getting me the most upvoted comments. Those fairies were cut out of a children's picture book and photographed in the garden by 2 girls. Web link. The noises the raptors made in Jurassic Park were actually turtles effing. You put yogurt in someone's butthole to speed up decomposition. I do. Pro tip, only works on dead bodies, living ones just get upset. I'm not allowed in that grocery store anymore. Wombats poop in cubes, then use the poop cubes to build little walls. Huh, who would have thought I have something in common with wombats? Do they also suffer from erectile dysfunction? That there was a NASA-funded project in the 60s to teach dolphins to speak English, which managed to involve giving a dolphin hand jobs and LSD. Damn, I wish I was a dolphin. Edit. I know the dolphin committed suicide, making it more fitting. The CIA spent nearly 5 years and $10 million to make a covert spy cat with implanted microphones, to eavesdrop on the Soviets. It was run over and killed by a car on its first mission. Let's see, the world's shortest war was over in 38 minutes, the longest war was over 300 years. The reason banana-flavored candy doesn't taste like bananas is because the banana we eat today is not the same as the one the flavor was created to mimic. Edit. After several comments have pointed it out, I did some research. It appears that the banana fact I shared isn't accurate. However, I am leaving it because it triggered some wonderful discussions on different banana varieties, including Cavendish and Gros Michel, that was worth the time. The skin between muscle and fat is called fascia and looks like a cobweb when pulled from those sections. Edit. By skin I mean connective tissue. If you flick your nipple, it'll get hard in 6 to 7 seconds. This comment will make people flicking their nipples over the world for a next couple of days. Coconuts kill 103 people a year. The same coconuts. They've developed a taste for human flesh. The term drink the Kool-Aid is historically incorrect. Jim Jones used Flavor Aid. What a cheapskate. I know, what's even the point of saving that money? Not like he was going to need it. You have a ball sack because you need to have your balls at 34 degrees Celsius to produce sperm, but your body is 37 degrees. The sack keeps them farther away. That's also why your balls shrivel when you are cold. Got to maintain homeostasis. Babies don't have kneecaps. Laughing my butt off, effing dweebs. All mammals over 3 kilograms, 6.5 pounds, pee for an average of 21 seconds with a full bladder, independent of body size. From a 2014 paper in the Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences, using high-speed videography and flow rate measurement obtained at Zoo Atlanta, we discover that all mammals above 3 kilograms in weight empty their bladders over nearly constant duration of 21 plus or minus 13s. This feat is possible because larger animals have longer urethra and thus, higher gravitational force and higher flow speed. Smaller mammals are challenged during urination by high viscous and capillary forces that limit their urine to single drops. Our findings reveal that the urethra is a flow-enhancing device, enabling the urinary system to be scaled up by a factor of 3,600 in volume without compromising its function. This study may help to diagnose urinary problems in animals as well as inspire the design of scalable hydrodynamic systems based on those in nature. Source: Web link. Female bedbugs lack a genital cavity, so the male bedbug has to literally stab his dick into the female bedbug's stomach, and then when they're done screwing, that's it. But what makes it even more interesting is that bedbugs are unable to tell the difference between other male and female bedbugs. Use your imagination a little for that one. Edit. What the heck, I went to bed and I woke up to find this blew up. Thanks for the awards and upvotes. Many species of snails and slugs are hermaphroditic, possessing fully functional male and female reproductive characteristics, and go about a similar process. When mating, two males will wrestle each other, joust with their penises. The loser of this contest becomes the female in the encounter, gets stabbed by the winner's dick, and is impregnated. Well, F me. Your anus comprises either 35 or 37 creases, resulting in a pattern as unique as your fingertips. This discovery, first made by Salvador Dalí, allowed for the development of an anus-examining smart toilet. On the same topic, it turns out that humans are deuterostomes. This means that at the start of its development, an embryo goes through a stage during which its tissue folds back over itself, creating something called a blastopore. As maturation continues, this blastopore becomes the anus. In short, you can make the argument that every person is an overgrown, and unique, butthole. This discovery, first made by Salvador Dali. Of course he did. There are more ways to shuffle a deck of cards than there are atoms on Earth. You can arrange a deck of cards into a new unique order once a second since the Big Bang, and you wouldn't even be 1% of the way through all possible combos today. Like, not even close to 1%. Technically speaking, a male ballet dancer is a ballerino. Also, a single strand of spaghetti is a spaghetto. Spaghetto is also my favorite term for a rough Italian neighborhood. The Stegosaurus was extinct for about 90 million years before Tyrannosaurus showed up, and the Tyrannosaurus has been extinct for about 65 million years. We are much closer in time to the T-Rex than the T-Rex was to Stegosaurs. Also, Cleopatra was born closer to our time than she was to the building of the pyramids. Our perception of time is funny. Macaulay Culkin is a classically trained ballet dancer. Ballerina refers to a specific female role in a company. The male equivalent is danseur. Alternatively, ballerino. The average human erection has roughly about 130 milliliters of blood in it, while the average rabbit has about 126 milliliters in its entire body. So, there is more blood in your boner than in a bunny. Heck 293 cells. A scientist named Alex van der Ebe in Netherlands made immortal cells from the liver of an aborted human fetus in the 70s. Those cells have been producing our vaccines for the last 50 years. I don't mean to spread this as misinformation, or as any correlation to the current pandemic. It's just a super weird fact I knew. Edit. Seems like I got the organ wrong, it was kidney and not liver cells. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to be the first to know about Red Rabbit Reader's new videos. If you like our videos, please like them on YouTube and share them with your friends. We welcome your comments below. Press to start another of our videos.